Hey guys, not a garden update today. Today I think we're going to show you guys how to save some money on your internet bill, especially if you got Comcast. I was talking to Dad yesterday, and somehow we got on the topic of the internet bill and everything like that, and this could save you. $15 a month. It could save you over $100 a month. Kind of depends on your setup. So I'll just walk you through it all. So basically, it's stop renting the equipment. You probably only need like 25, 50 megabits per second, not 100 or 200. Also, some just technical stuff. Make sure you check your cabling because that could be lowering your speed. And how to protect your equipment. So we're going to go over those four things, and I don't want to, like clickbait or anything. So the first step is you probably shouldn't be renting your equipment from Comcast. It's like $15 a month or $14 a month just for some equipment that you could buy for like $30, $40 from Walmart and be done with it. It pays itself off in a few months. So I'll just show you exactly what I use. I'll show you some options, but we'll go through the whole thing. So let me just turn the camera around. Alrighty. So this is my internet setup. Looks really complicated, but you can ignore this. Is a Raspberry Pi cluster. It's something nerdy you don't need to know about. This is a cable modem right here, and you can get one from Walmart. This one happens to be a Netgear. You can't see. Yeah, this one's a Netgear. There's several different brands of networking equipment that you can get. Some is Netgear, Linksys, D-Link. Those are kind of the name brand consumer stuff. It's all fine. It's fine. It's like buying a Samsung or phone or something. It's fine. If you want to go higher end, it would be something like Ubiquiti or something. But the Walmart stuff, you usually get Netgear or Linksys or something. That's fine. And this is I think like $30 to $50 to get a cable modem. There are different ones, but usually like in your area, they're only going to sell ones that are like compatible with the actual cable networks nearby. So you need a cable modem. The equipment that Comcast gives you does several things. It usually has a cable modem in it, and it has a Wi-Fi access point and a router. And I'll go through what all of those do. But just to head off any comment, this seems really complicated. Just about any technical savvy teenager that will be able to set all of this up. Don't call me. Chances are you got some tech savvy teenager around that could set all of this up for you, and it'll be good experience for them setting this up, and you'll get it done for cheap. So they'll show you how to do it, but I'll show you what equipment you need to look for. But anyway, so you need the cable modem. The cable modem talks to the actual the cable wire there, right? So it's the thing that brings internet in from the actual cable connection. So that's what the cable modem does. And then you have the Wi-Fi access point / router. Usually these are combined. Sometimes you can get ones with the cable modem in it. I like having them separate because sometimes you'll get lightning strikes or power failures or something, and it's more likely to take out the modem than anything else. So I like having them separate so you can just replace one piece instead of having to replace all of it at once. So, and I usually like to have a little bit nicer of a router just because I'm a nerd. This is a bit more of this isn't like super high end. This is a bit more fancy of a unit. You can get some cheaper ones, and I'll show you some options there. But what this does is it gives you the Wi-Fi. That's what these little antennas are. It puts everything over the web so you can connect with your iPhones and iPads and stuff like that. It also has these Ethernet connections on the back of it, and they look kind of like kind of like phone connections. The cable is called Cat 5, Cat 6, or whatever. You don't really, you can just buy this anywhere. But the difference between this and a phone line is the phone line has 4 wires in it, and you may be able to see this has eight wires in it. So it's a little bit different. The connector is a little larger. This is a very standard connection. It's usually just called Ethernet, and you can see it has. Let me see here. Move this over so you can see better. Do you see there's multiple connections? So one goes out to your modem, and then you have some other ports that you can, if you want it to hardwire. So like you have a desktop or something like that, you can hardwire in there, and there's 4 ports. Usually, if you get a access point or Wi-Fi router or something like that, it's usually going to have 4-point hub on it, one plus one that goes to your internet, the internet modem. So this is all super technical. Like I said, you can always just get someone moderately tech savvy that will be able to set all this up for you for super cheap. So that gets your so you'll get this, and you can get these for like 30-40 bucks, and you can get a Wi-Fi router for 30 or 40 bucks, or you can get a combo unit somewhere in between that range. Let me go over wiring, just since we're nearby. Let's go over wiring. Sometimes you'll have really low internet connection speeds, and you can call Comcast out a billion times, and of course, you call Comcast and they come check everything, and everything's fine, right? Well, you can check things yourself, and one of the easiest ways to do is just to limit the amount of splitters between that are coming into your home. So I'll show you what a splitter is. Usually you have your cables are coming in, over the line or whatever, and they'll come into your house. And this one in this case is coming down the line, and it's moving along here, and then it goes down here, and then there's only one cable coming in, right? So you got to split them up, and each time, this isn't technically true, but the way that you can think about it, every time you split this connection, so you could take it off to different devices, say one's going to your TV and one's going to your cable modem. Every time you do that, basically you can think of it, it's cutting the signal in half. And every time you do that, it's got to have a certain amount of signal for it to get a good connection. So you want to minimize the number of splitters that you have in your system. In this case, I have this one split. This one's going right to what we just saw, and then there's a connection that goes to the living room, right here to my entertainment center, which has a cable box right there, and then in my bedroom there's another connection which is unused. So basically, you want your internet connection to be, if you have to make a choice, to be split the least, meaning it has the highest signal to noise ratio, meaning has the best signal coming in. And then the TVs can usually tolerate a weaker signal, but in general you just want to minimize the number of splits, and that'll give you your best chance. And of course, if you got really corroded cables, maybe go in there and clean them or replace the tips. But yeah, let me show you the equipment. Let me show you just Walmart. And you can get this stuff everywhere, but I'm just Walmart because everybody knows what Walmart is. In fact, I got most of this equipment from Walmart. So let's see here. So I got a list here to know what to get. Okay, so as far as equipment goes, even something like this is the Wi-Fi router right there. You see that? This one, El Cheapo one, which is fine. Usually the ones that you can buy nowadays are going to be like 802.in or G. If anything basically above G is going to be fine. Maybe I can show you all the speeds here. So this was like the first generation, which was 2 megabits, and then you had A, which is 54, and then B, which is 11. Most of the stuff is G or N or AC that you'll buy new nowadays, and most of your devices will be able to operate in this range. And all of this is backwards compatible, but 54 megabits per second for home use is perfectly fine, unless you just got a ton of like very high bandwidth devices. And definitely, this is probably the main line stuff that you would get, and like most of your iPhones and stuff like that, or most of your phones and tablets and stuff are going to be capable of doing an N. So it's 600 megabits per second is more than enough for home use. So this one right here is capable of doing N, and you could check by doing. Oh my God, Mr. What is this? A bus? Yes. Bus. It's been doing this all day. I don't know what's going on. The robot stuff. I got a bunch of text messages on the screen, so I can't see what I'm doing. All right. Where's it at? Product information. Okay, so this product information is really cool. Yeah, so this is a wireless N router, which is fine. That'll be fine for home use. Like I said, this is super cheap. It's $30, and then here's the cable modem. It says only 3 left. They've got like a billion. There's a billion different versions from different manufacturers, but it's a $30 to $50 range. You can see all of it. You don't have to get like the super expensive. You're not getting a whole lot extra. You just get the El Cheapo one, the cheapest one you can find, which is a name brand. So Netgear, Motorola is fine. And like I said, there's Linksys and a few others. But that'll, all of that equipment together, you're talking, $50, $60, maybe up to like $75. And if you're not going to see it, I don't do it. But I think the rental fee for the Comcast equipment is like $14 a month. So, between 3 and 6 months, you've already paid for all of the gear. Okay, so that'll save you that much money. And then a lot of people will get like 100, 200 megabit per second download package from Comcast. And I mean, unless you're like got multiple 4K streams, usually you're fine in the 20 to 50 megabit direct, which is basically the bottom or next to bottom tier, at least for Comcast in this area. And if you do go to downgrade, one thing that I ran into yesterday was like if you go to try to downgrade on Comcast site, what happened? They don't show you to downgrade. So there is a 20 megabit per second tier that's not showing right now because for whatever reason I have the 50. Like I'm supposed to have the 25. For some reason it's showing mine is the 50 megabit per second package. But I would have the 25. I don't know why it's showing 50. But anyway, they don't show you the downgrade options. You actually got to call Comcast and say, hey, I want to downgrade. And if you're just like 1 or 2 people and you're watching HD streams, you probably only need 25 megabits. So only really if you're downloading a lot of large files all the time, and particularly if you're uploading large files. Like I have to occasionally upload. I'm going to have to upload this video and I have to do some stuff for work. But it's not worth the extra expense for me to upgrade just for the me having to wait a little bit longer for uploads. So I recommend doing like 20 to 50 megabits per second. 50 megabits per second if you're you got you're all watching Netflix at night, and you don't want to have any lag whatsoever. So this is Netflix internet speed recommendation. So if you're just watching regular high definition, you only need 5 megabits per second per string. So basically, if you've got the 25 megabit, you'll never get the full theoretical. We'll go off theoretical numbers, but if you have the 25 megabit connection, that means you can have 5 people streaming regular high definition all at once, no problems. I mean, usually, really, it's going to be like 2 or 3 people. It's going to have a very seamless experience. If you had the 50 megabit per second package, you could have 2 people streaming 4K at once, and then 5 times that amount of regular high definition. But what I'm trying to say is you don't need unless you just really hate buffering, even for a few seconds, or you just really need it. I just find very few use cases to go up to like 100 or the 200, or even some people have got like gigabit per second. Like, what are you using that for? You're not using it for anything. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, so that's another thing. So that could save you if you've got the 200 megabit per second package, and it's got you and your wife and maybe a young kid. You can probably, go down to the 25 or 50 and save $100 a month, so do it. All right, I guess the last little bit is one thing I do recommend, because we do have a lot of power outages and stuff around here in Mississippi. The thunderstorms come through, or Mississippi Power, gets a hair up its ass and decides to turn everybody's power off for 2 seconds, because they do that all the time. You might want to consider getting UPS to protect your equipment, particularly your network equipment and your computer equipment. And one of the easy ways to do that is you can go to Amazon or whatever, and you can just get a basic UPS. This is like the smallest one. It's a 6 outlet, and basically 3 outlets will be surge protected, and 3 outlets will be actually on battery backup power. So say you put your router, your cable modem, and your computer on your desktop computer on the battery protected outlet, and then you can have surge protection on the other ones. And that just gives you a little bit of a buffer whenever the power decides to cycle for whatever reason that Mississippi Power decides to do that for. But anyway, there's some bigger ones and stuff. I've got 2. I've got one on my I've got one down here. I don't know if you can be able to see it. That's the UPS, and I keep all of my computer equipment on that battery backup. I think it's like a 12 port, and it does some conditioning. It's a little bit fancier, but it's still, I think it still was only like $75 or something. And then I have one on my entertainment system, and I recently just got these because I lost some equipment in a lightning strike. So I think if you do all of that stuff, you can save a lot of money. You can save yourself the monthly expenses from renting from Comcast. You can also choose what quality stuff. If you have your own stuff, then Comcast can't be snooping on your internal network traffic. They can only see what you're requesting from the internet. So that's one aspect if you like that. Another aspect is you get to choose which features, like if you want to do, like, I don't know, you want to block your kids from getting the internet, or watching certain YouTube, going to certain sites, or watching. If you want it to get really fancy, you can get fancy equipment to do that. Actually, even this router right here can do some of that stuff. But anyway, so you can save money on your internet bills, and you can protect your equipment with some fairly inexpensive equipment, and save you some money in the long run. Like, I think my dad's going to end up, by the time we get everything switched out, So you got to if you have Comcast stuff, you got to return it. So you get your cable you order your cable modem, and if you need to your access point, wait till they get in, and then you get those connected up. You call up Comcast and say, hey, I got my own cable modem, I need you to provision it, and they'll provision it. Basically, you got to give them the MAC address. Like I said, if you have somebody technical, they could do all this for you. But they'll ask for the MAC address for the device. They'll add it. They'll provision it. It's what the terminology is called. They'll provision it, and then you can return all of that, the Comcast equipment. You can return it to Comcast, and you don't have to pay that bill. Plus, you can downgrade to your lower speed because you don't need 200 megabits per second on a home network. I work on a computer all day, and unless you're just doing like graphic design and you're constantly uploading and downloading large assets, you have no business with a 200 megabit per second or 500 or in some cases gigabit. You really just don't have no business in my mind, unless you just got money to burn, in which case this video is not for you. Anyway, I hope you guys found this helpful, and hopefully next week we'll get an update on the garden, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.